Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
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 Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo
Nitai Gaura Haribo
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Vrivraj Kicharustara Sutta Śrimad Divanka Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Grantaraj Śrimad Bhagāvatam ki Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading this morning from Śrimad Bhagāvatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 27. This chapter is entitled Narada's Instructions on Śrimad Bhagāvatam for Vyasadeva.
我哋今日繼續閱讀聖典博迦談第一篇第5章第27節。咁呢一章嘅題目咧就係 Sri Narada Muni 就聖典博迦談給 Vyasadeva 嘅指示。
Das means Tada Labda Rucher Mahamate Priya Shravasi Askalita Matir Mama Yayaham Etat Sat Asat Sva Mayaya Pasye Mayi Brahmani Kalpitam Pare. You have you can read. Tasmin tadalabda rucher mahamate.
Tasmin tadalabda rucher mahamate.
Priya Shravasya Skalita Matir Mama.
Priya Shravasya Skalita Matir Mama.
Yayaham mitat sarasat svamayaya.
Yayaham mitat sarasat svamamaya.
Pasye mayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Pasye mayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Okay. Wait for her to finish.
Yadyatam atasad aset swadmadhyaya.
Yayaham itasat asat swamamaya.
Hasya mayi brahmani kalpatam para.
Pasye mayi brahmani kalpitam pare. Tasmin tata labda ruche mahamate.
Tasmin tadalam darucher mahamate.
Priya swasya Yaskalita mati mama.
Askalita matir mama.
Yayaham itat sat asat swamamaya. Pasye mayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Tasmin tata labda ruche mahamate.
Tasmin tata labda ruche mahamate.
Priya Sravasya Kalita mati mama.
Priya Swavasya Kapita Mati Mama.
Yayaham etasat asat swamayaya.
Yayaham Itasat Asat Swamamaya.
Pasye mayi brahmani kalpitam pare.
Pasye Mayi Brahmani Kalpitam Pare.
Tasmin, it being so.
雖然是這樣
Tada,
Tada
at that time.
at that time 在那時
Achieved.
得到
Ruche,
Ruche
taste.
品味
Mahamate,
Mahamate
oh, great sage.
偉大的聖節哦
Priyashravasi,
Priya Travasi
upon the Lord.
對至尊主
Ashkalitamati,
Ashalitamati
uninterrupted attention.
沒有中斷的注意力
Mama,
媽媽
my.
我的
Yaya,
日日
by which.
由那
Aham,
阿堪
I.
我
Etat,
伊塔
all these.
所有這些
Sadasat,
殺阿殺
gross and subtle.
粗糙及精微的
Svamayaya,
swama 日日
one's own ignorance.
自己的愚昧
Pashye,
拍耶
see,
看
Mai,
咪意
in me.
在我之中
Brahmani,
白曼尼
the supreme.
至尊者
Kalpitam,
靠撇針
is accepted.
被接受
Pare,
Pare
in the transcendence.
在超然性中
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
就係
O great sage, as soon as I got a taste for the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only my ignorance that I accepted gross and subtle coverings. For both the Lord and I are transcendental.
譯文為要只由聖巴巴提供。譯文偉大的聖人咯，我一旦體驗到聆聽有關人格守神嘅美好滋味，從此便堅持不懈，全神貫注地傾聽有關他的一切。隨着我的這一喜好不斷加劇，我認識到至尊主和我都是超然的，僅僅是因為我太愚昧，我才誤以為粗糙和精微的覆蓋物包裹着我和至尊主。
Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness, and all Vedic literatures, the personality of Godhead is compared to the sun. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. Hearing of the Lord's pastime is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and His transcendental pastimes. To become associated with the Supreme Light is to dissipate all ignorance. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with material nature. When ignorance is removed and it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing outside the personality of Godhead, then nescience is removed. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. The gross body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, as in bringing water, cleansing the temple, or making obeisances, etc. The path of archana, or worshipping the Lord in the temple, involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting His name, etc. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. Such realization of transcendental activities is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in a devotional service, but simple attraction of love for the personality of Godhead, as it was developed in Narada Muni by hearing, is highly effective.
要指所有嘅偉大文獻都把物質存在中嘅愚昧比喻為是黑暗，把人格守神比作太陽，有光明嘅地方不會有黑暗。至尊主與他超然嘅娛樂活動沒有區別，因此聆聽對至尊主娛樂活動嘅描述，就是在與至尊主本人進行超然嘅接觸，與至高無上嘅光明結合，就會驅散所有嘅黑暗愚昧。正是愚昧才使得受制約嘅靈魂錯誤地以為自己與至尊主都是物質自然嘅產物，但事實上人格守神和靈魂都是超然的，都與物質自然毫無關係。當愚昧被去除時，人就會清楚地認識到，除了人格守神，世上不存在別的。當人了解到粗糙和精微嘅軀體都是來自人格守神時，這知識之光便允許人用它們來為至尊主服務。粗糙的軀體應該被用於為至尊主服務，例如用水清洗神廟，或者向神像頂禮等。在廟裏崇拜至尊主 Archana 的做法，可以使人用粗糙嘅軀體為至尊主服務。同樣，精微嘅心應該被用於聆聽至尊主嘅超然娛樂活動並思考這一切，應該用於吟誦吟唱他的聖名等。所有這些活動都是超然的。除了這些活動，不應該用粗糙或輕微嘅感官去從事其他活動。人只有以門徒嘅身份，在靈性導師嘅指導下，做了許多年嘅服務後，才能夠做到始終專注於從事這些超然嘅活動。然而，僅靠聆聽發展出嘅對人格守神嘅愛，就具有強烈嘅效果。Narada Muni 嘅經歷便是一個證明。
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Jana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jana Bhutale Shayan Rupa Kadamayam Darati Svapadantikam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachade Shatanine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The previous 3 verses described the gradual awakening of Narada Muni's Krishna consciousness.
咁之前嗰3個詩節咧，就係描述咧係 Narada Muni 咧喺慢慢咧係喺呢個 Krishna 知覺當中咧得到醒覺。
First, he associated with the great sages through menial service.
咁首先咧，佢通過做一啲咧係好低下嘅服務啦，嚟到係同呢一個呢啲聖人咧係聯誼。
Second, he took the remnants of prasadam from the great sages.
咁第二咧就係佢咧係榮耀咗咧呢啲聖人所剩翻嘅際遇。
Third, he heard the great sages speak exclusively of the pastimes of Krishna.
咁第三咧就係去聆聽咧，呢啲聖人咧淨係講述咧係 Krishna 嘅逍遙時光。
And the result of this is that now he is tasting.
咁咧而家個結果咧就係佢而家咧就喺度品嚐緊啦。
Normally, we have situations where everything is relative.
咁我哋通常身處嘅環境咧，所有嘢都係相對嘅。
The whole world is based on relativity.
咁咧，所有整個世界咧都係充滿咗相對性。
What is good for someone may not be good for someone else.
有啲嘢咧對一個人係好嘅，對其他人咧未必係好嘅。
What is tasty for someone can be very unpalatable for someone else.
咁對一啲食物咧，對某啲人嚟講係非常之美味咧，但係對某啲另外啲人咧就係完全咧係一啲都唔美味。
What is true for someone may be false for someone else.
對一啲事物咧，對一個人嚟講係真實嘅，但係對其他人嚟講咧，可能唔係真實嘅。
Because that is the world of duality.
因為咧，我哋身處喺一個充滿咗相對性嘅世界。
And the world of duality is based on being situated on the mental platform.
咁我哋點解咧？就因為我哋咧係我哋身處喺我哋呢個思維嘅呢一個嘅層面嗰度。
This is mentioned in Śrimad Bhagāvatam that people who are affected by the modes of material nature are constantly controlled by their minds.
咁喺《Bhagāvatam》咧亦都有講到啦，就係呢一啲咧身處喺呢一個喺呢個層面度嘅人咧，佢哋咧係恆常咧係被佢哋嘅心意所控制。
This is very different from experiences that we have in Krishna consciousness.
咁呢個咧同我哋喺 Krishna 之國入邊所得到嘅經歷咧係好唔一樣。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that once you have an experience of Krishna consciousness, you develop a higher taste.
咁喺博家梵嗰邊咧 ，Krishna 就講到啦，只要咧你係曾經有過呢個 Krishna 之國嘅經驗咧，你咧就會發展出一個咧，培養出一個更加高階嘅品味。
And when you have a higher taste, you disregard any previous experience that were unpalatable.
咁如果你有呢一個更加高階嘅品味咧，你對所有之前嘅一切嘅經歷咧，都會覺得呢啲嘢咧係完全咧係淡而無味。
A very practical example is since the 1990s, China has experienced great material prosperity.
咁其中一個非常之好嘅例子咧，就係喺90年代開始啦，中國咧就係喺呢個物質發展方面咧係一個好大嘅呢個進步。
And China has been praised for, within a very short time, lifting 400 million people out of poverty.
咁而中國咧亦都得到好多其他國家嘅讚賞啦，就係佢哋喺好短時間之內咧，令到400萬人咧係脫貧。
Even simple farmers now can live in very luxurious apartments.
就算係一啲好簡單生活嘅農夫啦，佢哋都而家咧都可以住喺啲咧非常之豪華嘅住宅入邊。
If you ask the same people today to go back to their little homes in the country, they will reject that.
咁如果你問翻呢啲人啦，叫佢哋咧翻去佢哋以前一啲好簡樸嘅屋企度生活咧，佢哋應該咧唔可以接受。
Because they've tasted something higher.
因為咧佢哋已經係品嚐到一啲咧更加高嘅品味。
But again, because it's a material world, it's relative.
咁但係咧，同樣地，因為呢個物質世界，所以呢啲咧都係相對性嘅。
Even if you get a luxurious apartment or a very prosperous lifestyle, at some point it will be taken away.
咁如果你係住喺一個好豪華嘅住宅啦，或者係一啲過一啲非常之富裕嘅生活咧，喺某一點咧，呢啲嘢咧都會咧係被拎走。
Even if you qualify to reside in the heavenly planets,
就算咧你係有資格住喺呢個天堂星球嗰度，
even if you make it all the way to Siddhaloka,
就算啊你可以咧去到呢個 Siddhaloka 嘅呢
which
個
is the
星球。
very last planet before entering Vaikuntha.
咁呢個咧就係進入無憂星Vaikuntha星球之前嘅最後一個星球。
Still you have to take birth again.
點都好啦，就算你去到嗰度咧，你都要咧翻嚟咧係再次投生。
So when we talk of higher taste, it's not a taste which is higher, it's a taste which is transcendental.
咁所以我哋咧講呢一個更加高階嘅品味咧，並唔係話只係高少少，而係咧係超然嘅。
And the beauty of the process of bhakti is this higher taste actually doesn't take very long to acquire.
咁而呢一個奉愛嘅呢一個嘅優美嘅地方就係咧，我哋唔需要好長嘅時間咧去培養出呢一個咧高階嘅品味。
It's practically instant.
咁咧其實實際上咧，可能一瞬間1秒鐘就得㗎啦。
When we first come in contact with Krishna consciousness, we directly experience spirituality.
咁當我哋係初初接觸到 Krishna 知覺嘅時候咧，我哋咧其實就已經係感受到呢個靈性嘅呢一啲嘅感覺。
In other words, we experience Krishna.
咁即係話咧，我哋換句話說，即係我哋咧係感受到 Krishna。
We may still have material desires.
我哋可能仍然有物質慾望。
We may still have karma to burn out.
我哋可能咧仲有好多業報咧要去消除。
But that's not a disqualification for bhakti.
但係呢個咧並唔係話令到我哋咧係冇資格咧係去做呢個奉愛服務。
Each of us come to Krishna consciousness with a certain degree of material desires.
咁我哋每一個人咧嚟到接觸呢個開始做呢個 Krishna 知覺啦，但係咧其實呢個奉愛咧，但我哋某程度上咧都有一啲物質慾望。
And we know exactly what they are.
咁我哋其實都知道咧，究竟呢啲咧係乜嘢？
We know which one we can let go of, and we know which one we want to hold on to.
我哋知道咧有啲咩呢啲物質慾望當中有啲咩我哋可以係放棄嘅，但係有啲咩咧我哋係想捉住嘅。
And we hold on to those very subtle material desires all the way to the end.
我哋會一直緊咁樣捉住呢一啲咧好精微嘅物質慾望咧，一直去到最後。
Even as we are making spiritual progress, we still have some hidden attachment sitting there.
就算咧我哋係喺靈性上係慢慢咁進步都好啦，我哋仍然有啲咧係隱藏嘅，有啲咧物質嘅慾望咧係匿埋咗喺某啲地方。
And those little hidden attachment are actually most powerful than the gross ones.
咁但係而呢一啲好精微嘅、好隱蔽嘅呢一啲嘅依附咧，其實咧係比起一啲粗糙嘅呢啲慾望咧係更加咧係重要。
In his little book Kalyana Kalpataru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has described this process.
咁咧喺 Bhaktivinoda Thakur 嘅一本書咧 Kalya
Kalpataru.
Kalpataru， 咁咧就 Bhaktivinoda Thakur 咧就係描述咗呢一個嘅過程。
See, the acharyas are extremely compassionate.
咁咧我哋之前嘅靈性導師佢哋係非常之仁慈嘅。
Because they are enjoying in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, and they come to this world out of compassion for the jivas.
咁咧，因為其實佢哋係喺呢個靈性世界咧，係享受同 Krishna 同 Radha 一齊咧享受緊佢哋嘅逍遙時光。但係佢哋咧因為基於對呢一個個體靈魂嘅仁慈啦，所以佢哋咧就嚟到呢個物質世界。
So why would they want to come here? It's terrible.
點解去呢個地方咁可怕？點解我哋仍然要嚟呢一度咧？
Even Prabhupada one time casually told his servant, I didn't want to come here.
咁就算咧有一次咧，聖巴巴咧都好即係好輕鬆咁樣同佢嘅僕人講，其實我唔想嚟呢度嘅。
The servant says, I know America is a terrible place. He says, no, you don't understand. I didn't want to come here. I didn't want to come into this world.
咁咧，跟住個僕人就話：係啊，美國咧其實係一個好差嘅地方。跟住聖巴巴就解釋：唔係啊，我唔係話美國，我係唔想嚟到呢個物質世界呢個地球。
But Krishna assured me, you go and I will take care of everything.
咁但係 Krishna 咧就係保證就話：你去啦，我會咧照顧你嘅一切。
So all the acharyas come to this world for the purpose of helping us going back to Krishna.
咁所以咧，我哋所有之前嘅靈性導師，佢哋嚟到呢個物質世界咧，都係幫助我哋咧係能夠回歸去 Krishna 嗰度。
So all their writings are of two nature.
咁所以佢哋所寫嘅嘢咧，都係有兩個嘅本質。
One nature is to present our present position.
咁第一就係咧，要我哋明白咧，我哋而家身處嘅情況。
be conscious of your situation in this material world.
我哋咧要明白到我哋而家喺呢個物質世界嘅身份嘅情況係點樣。
Then I will teach you how to come out of this situation.
跟住咧，我就會教你咧點樣離開你而家呢一個嘅狀況。
So that's why all these books are about. All the books of the Goswamis are about take conscience of your material situation and how to get out of it.
咁所以咧，所有呢啲Goswami 啲靈性導師佢所寫嘅書咧，其實就係要令我哋明白到我哋而家身處嘅境況咯，同埋教導我哋咧點樣係離開呢一度。
And as you extract yourself through the process of bhakti, I will now write about how you taste
咁當
Krishna consciousness.
我哋通過呢一個培養呢一個奉愛嘅時候咧，我哋就慢慢咧能夠咧係品味到呢一個嘅 Krishna 知覺嘅呢一個嘅品味。
They are actually amazing visionaries.
咁咧其實佢哋嘅視野咧係非常之美妙嘅。
How could hundreds of years ago they would understand and envision our position today?
佢哋咧呢啲靈性導師，佢哋幾百年前啦，佢哋已經咧能夠咧係明白，亦都咧知道咧我哋現今身處嘅呢個狀況係點樣。
How would they know that we have this attachment, that attachment?
佢哋點解會知道咧？我哋有呢一樣嗰樣嘅各種嘅依附咧？
Because there's nothing new in this world.
因為咧喺呢個世界咧冇嘢係新鮮嘅。
They're the same attachment that people had millions of years ago.
就算咧幾百萬年前啦，千萬年前都好啦，啲人嘅依附都係一樣嘅。
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote many books and many songs and many poems to describe the entanglement of this material world.
咁所以咧，北川元太嗰度寫咗無數嘅書啦、詩歌啦、詩詞啦、歌啦，嚟到咧係描述咧喺呢個物質世界嘅呢一啲嘅糾纏嘅嘢。
So in the form of poetry, Bhaktivinoda Thakur described this is the next step, this is the next challenge, this is the next obstacle.
咁咧喺通過呢個詩歌嘅形式啦，北川元太嗰度咧就係描寫話嗱呢個咧就係我哋下一個遇到嘅障礙，下一個我哋遇到嘅依附點樣去解決。
And then he mentions, finally, you are free from material desires.
跟住咧佢就講啦，最後咧我哋咧就會咧係從呢一個物質慾望、物質嘅依附當中咧得到自由。
And then he says, long, long after your freedom from material desires.
咁咧過咗好耐之後咧，我哋終於咧就係由呢一個物質依附當中咧得到呢一個自由。
On the horizon
咁咧就係好似喺呢個水平線嗰度咁樣。
appear profit, adoration, and distinction.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Profit,
Profit.
profit means
Okay. Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
adoration,
Adoration.
because I am very renounced.
咁咧跟住最後咧喺呢個水平線嗰度咧就會得到啲利益啦，亦都咧係得到啲讚賞啊，因為咧你係非常之棄絕，
I'm very detached.
因為你咧係非常之唔依附。
I'm free from sex life,
我咧就完全唔依附呢個性生活，
which is the strongest attachment in this material world.
而呢個咧亦都係喺物質世界最大嘅呢一個嘅依附。
So you think, that's it, I've made it.
咁你就會諗啦，我成功啦，我達到啦。
Right? So you have great sages, great munis who are completely detached from this world. What happened? They get a lot of attention.
咁我哋呢個世界好多嘅聖人啦，佢哋咧都係去到能夠變得絕對唔依附嘅，咁我哋咧受到好多人嘅關注。
Because when someone is pure, it's very attractive.
因為咧，當一個人係好純粹嘅時候咧，佢係非常之有吸引力。
But the people who are attracted to these saintly persons, they're not pure.
咁但係呢啲被聖人所吸，呢啲被啲純粹嘅聖人所吸引嘅人咧，佢哋自己本身咧並唔係純粹嘅。
Right? They bow down, they give money, they flower a garland, wash the feet.
佢哋
I
咧
give
會
you my house, I give you my car.
佢哋頂拜啲聖人啦，佢哋咧係觸碰佢哋蓮花竹啦，幫佢哋洗腳啦，我哋咧俾好多嘅佈施啦，俾架車你啦，俾我間屋你等等。
I'm surrendered by many secretaries.
我身邊有好多嘅秘書，
Everyone loves me.
每個人咧都好愛我，
I'm number one.
我咧係第一嘅。
Phew.
跟住你就會 do
Yes. Profit, adoration, and distinction. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned.
咁咧，北端嗰塔嗰度就描述咧，就係你要得到一啲利益啦，會被人欣賞啦，同埋咧係一個好出眾，變得一個好出眾嘅人物。
This is more subtle and more powerful than sex life.
咁呢個咧係比性生活咧係更加咧係強大，同埋咧更加精微嘅。
Because the ego is very inflated.
因為咧你嘅自我咧係非常之膨脹。
But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is teaching us that we have one material ego and one spiritual ego.
咁咧 Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur 咧就提到啦，我哋有一個物質嘅自我，亦都有個咧靈性嘅自我。
And they go side by side. As we practice bhakti, they go side by side.
咁當我哋收集呢個奉愛嘅時候咧，佢兩個咧係平衡咁樣喺埋一齊嘅。
But gradually the false ego has to disappear and the spiritual ego has to become prominent.
咁咧，但係隨住我哋喺度收集嘅時候咧，呢個假我咧就會被摒棄啦，而呢一個靈性嘅真正嘅自我咧就會咧越嚟越變得強大。
So this false ego is darkness.
咁呢一個假我咧就係黑暗，
And the spiritual ego is sunlight.
而靈性嘅呢個嘅真正嘅自我咧就係陽光。
So Prabhupada mentions that ignorance is what gives us what we think is our real identity.
咁咧，正帕帕講咧，愚昧咧就令到我哋咧以為我哋咧就係有呢個身份。
And the challenge in the process of bhakti is to remove ignorance as soon as possible.
咁而喺收集奉愛嘅呢個挑戰咧，就我哋要盡快咧就係清除呢一個嘅假我。
So as I mentioned previously, first this ignorance manifests in gross material attachment, and then ignorance becomes more and more subtle with subtle material attachment.
咁我頭先都講過啦。首先咧，呢個愚昧係喺呢一個粗糙嘅呢啲物質依附度出現啦。但係隨住我哋收集咧，就會變得咧越嚟越咧係精微嘅一啲嘅物質嘅依附。
So we go from ignorance to passion to goodness.
咁我哋咧係由愚昧啦，跟住咧提升去到激情啦，再去到善良屬性。
But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that there is a competition between ignorance, passion, and goodness.
咁但係咧喺《Bhagāvatam》咧 ，Krishna 就講到啦，我哋喺呢一個愚昧、激情同埋善良屬性當中咧，其實係有個競爭嘅。
Goodness is a good platform.
善良屬性係一個好嘅平台。
But it's not permanent, it's not guaranteed.
但係呢個咧唔係長久嘅，唔係保證你可以喺嗰度嘅。
For example, there are many people who have a life in goodness.
咁就譬如一個例子咧，就好多人咧，其實佢哋咧係喺呢一個善良屬性當中生活嘅。
They're vegetarians,
佢哋咧係素食㗎，
they protect nature,
佢哋咧保護大自然，
they have a simple life,
佢哋咧過啲好簡樸嘅生活。
but their ego is so big.
但係佢哋咧有個非常非常大嘅假我。
How is it so big?
點解會咁大咧？
Don't teach me anything, I know.
咁咧佢哋就會覺得咧，你唔需要教我任何嘢㗎，我乜都識。
Many of the New Age people are like this.
呢個新時代嘅人咧，好多時都係咁樣。
Very nice life. I love you, you love me, everything is beautiful. Don't tell me what to do.
咁呢啲人就話啦，我愛你啦，你愛我啦，所有嘢都係美好嘅，但係你唔好教我任何嘢，我咩都識。
It's very subtle.
呢個咧係好精微嘅。
So, from the platform of goodness, Prabhupada explained, go into pure goodness.
咁所以咧，聖帕巴講到，我哋要由呢個善良屬性嘅平台咧，提升咧去到絕對純粹嘅善良屬性。
And even if it is not steady, instead of doing passion, goodness, ignorance, goodness, we can do pure goodness, goodness, pure goodness.
咁就算我哋未係好穩定啦，但係起碼咧，我哋都提升自己，就唔好喺呢個激情同埋愚昧屬性之間嘅來來去去啦，而係提升我哋自己咧，去到我哋喺善良屬性啦，同埋純粹善良屬性當中咧，係生活。
In the second chapter of the first canto, it is mentioned, Tada rajas tamo bhavo kama lobadayas chaye cheta eter anavidham stitam sattve prashidati. You have it?
1 to
1 to 19.
19. Okay, yeah.
As soon as irrevocable, loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy.
呢個係《聖典博家談》第1篇第2章第19節。心中一旦堅定不移地決定做愛心服務，貪婪、渴望和嚮往等物質自然激情及愚昧屬性嘅產物就會從心中消失。奉獻者於是便穩定地處在善良屬性嘅層面上，變得十分快樂。
In the next verse, thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in a stage of liberation from material association.
咁呢個係跟住個詩節第20節啦。這樣處在純粹善良屬性層面上的人，因為不斷為至尊主做奉愛服務而心中充滿喜悅，在擺脱了一切物質接觸嘅階段，獲得對人格守神實質性嘅科學知識。
The next verse, these are beautiful series of verses.
咁再下一節啦，咁呢個咧都係一啲非常之美妙嘅詩節嚟嘅。
Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, all misgivings cut to pieces, just like in the kitchen. Cha 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 cha. All cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive reaction is terminated, and one sees oneself and one's master.
咁呢個係第21節啦。至此，心中嘅結被打開，所有嘅誤解煙消雲散。當人看到自我是主人時，功利性活動嘅鎖鏈就此中斷。
And this is exactly what Narada Muni says in this verse when he says, "Only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental."
咁而呢個咧，正咧就係 Narada Muni 喺今日個詩節所講嘅，僅係因為我太愚昧，我才誤以為粗糙和精微嘅覆蓋物包裹着我和至尊主。
This is the only situation when you can speak of oneness.
咁呢個咧就係唯一嘅情況，我哋可以講咧就係我一個。
This is not the oneness of the impersonalist.
我哋所講嘅合一就唔係呢個非人格神主義者所講嘅。
The oneness of the impersonalist is to merge with Krishna and to become Krishna.
咁咧，非人格神主義者所講嘅合一咧，就係同至尊主融為一體，我哋變成至尊主。
Which is impossible.
呢個咧係冇可能嘅。
The oneness that we're talking about here is you are one with Krishna in transcendental nature and in pure love.
咁我哋所講嘅合一就係話咧，我哋係喺一個超然嘅層面同 Krishna 喺埋一齊啦，而我哋咧係喺愛嘅當中。
Right? Like when people fall in love, they have two rings, they have two hearts. Yes?
就好似咧愛人啦，即係戀人啦，佢哋咧就有兩個戒指係會連埋一齊啦，或者兩個心咧都會黐埋一齊。
They retain individuality, but there is oneness.
佢哋咧仍然係保持呢個個體性，但係咧就係會變咗一體。
Until you see a heart with an arrow going through it.
咁你會見到兩個心咧俾支箭咧係穿過咗。
Disappointment.
咁咧
It didn't work out the way I was planning.
咁結果就係好失望啦，因為咧並唔係你所想嘅發生。
So Narada Muni didn't take very long to get this experience.
咁樣 Narada Muni 咧並唔係用咗好長嘅時間咧去得到呢啲嘅經驗。
It will be mentioned in the next verse, just during the summer season.
咁咧下一節先有講到啦，其實只係喺呢個夏天嘅時候。
Imagine you go to Mayapur, you go to Vrindavan, you sit with the sadhus just during the rainy season. You come back here, you're a pure devotee.
咁你可以想象下啦， 即係一樣嘅情景，就係你去到馬來普啦，去到 Vrindavan 啦，係雨季嘅時候，你就住喺嗰度，你就同啲聖人聯誼啦，跟住當你過咗雨季，你翻到香港就變咗一個純粹嘅奉獻者。
Now, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, still can't get it right.
咁但係實際上係點呢？5年、10年、20年、30年都仲係未得喎。
There is the famous story when Srila Prabhupada traveled by train in India.
咁有個好出名嘅故事咧，就係當時咧，聖帕帕咧係用火車咧喺印度度咧係旅行。
And it doesn't matter where Prabhupada was, when it was midnight, he would start writing his book, dictating his
咁
book.
無論聖帕帕喺邊個地方都好啦，只要咧去到半夜咧，佢就開始咧就係用佢嘅錄音機咧係翻譯書籍。
So the train was running throughout the night. Prabhupada was sitting on his bench. He was dictating, and his servant was sleeping on the floor.
咁咧當時就係聖帕帕咧就係喺個火車嗰度啦，火車繼續行啦，成晚通宵咁行啦。咁咧就當半夜開始嘅時候，帕帕就會坐起身啦，然之後就喺度翻譯啦，而佢僕人咧就會瞓喺個地上邊。
So Prabhupada woke him up.
跟住帕帕就叫醒佢個僕人：
What are you doing?
你喺度做乜啊？
I'm sleeping.
跟住佢僕人就話：我瞓緊覺。
Why are you sleeping?
跟住聖帕帕就問：你做咩瞓覺？
I guess because I'm tired.
跟住佢個僕人就話：因為我好攰。
Why are you tired?
咁點解你咁攰啊？
Because I have a material body.
跟住個僕人就話：因為我有物質身體。
Why do you have a material body?
咁點解你有個物質身體啊？
Because I'm not a pure devotee.
因為我唔係一個純粹嘅奉獻者。
Why are you not a pure devotee?
咁點解你唔係一個純粹嘅奉獻者啊？
Okay, go back to sleep.
跟住好啦，你瞓覺啦。
Prabhupada was so Krishna conscious.
帕帕咧實在非常非常之100%嘅擁有 Krishna 知覺。
But if you look at the life, every acharya has a different life story,
咁但係如果
different journey.
你睇翻我哋之前嘅靈性導師啲 Acharya 咧，每一個呢啲靈性導師佢都有一個唔同嘅佢嘅生命嘅故事。
They were all born in different families.
佢哋咧都喺唔同嘅家庭度出生。
Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatan, they were all born in different kind of families in different parts of India.
譬如就好似 Jiva Goswami 啦、Raghunath Das Goswami 啦，佢哋咧全部都係喺印度唔同嘅地方、唔同嘅家庭嗰度咧係出生嘅。
Haridas Thakur,
亦都有 Haridas Thakur
born
啦，
from a Muslim family.
佢係一個回教徒嘅家庭出生啦。
When he was 8 years old, left home
佢咧當佢8歲嘅時候就離開家庭啦。
and started chanting 24 hours a day.
咁佢咧嗰陣時就開始咧係24小時咧係念誦聖名。
Very quickly attained pure bhakti.
佢咧好快脆咧就係得到呢個純粹嘅奉愛。
Bhaktivinoda Thakur has the most fascinating life story.
咁咧Bhaktivinoda Thakur佢嘅人生嘅過程咧係最精彩嘅。
One challenge after another, one disaster after another.
佢咧人生充滿咗一個又一個嘅挑戰，好多嘅呢一個嘅災難。
Did not know anything about Krishna consciousness,
佢開始嘅時候咧，一啲關於 Krishna 知覺嘅嘢都唔認識，
so to speak.
即係咁樣講啦。
But actually, he is a manjari in the spiritual
咁
world.
但係實際上咧，喺靈性世界係一個 manjari， 一個小牧牛姑娘。
Until he find out about Krishna consciousness. Oh, that's very interesting.
直至咧佢尋找到呢個 Krishna 知覺，佢就發覺哇呢樣嘢好非常之有趣。
And the same with Srila Prabhupada. He was born in the Vaishnava family.
咁正如係聖帕帕都一樣啦，佢出生喺一個奉獻者嘅家庭。
And from the beginning of his life, he was hearing about Krishna.
由佢人生嘅開始嘅時候咧，佢就已經係聆聽關於 Krishna 嘅嘢。
He said, I don't remember a single time that I did not remember Krishna.
跟住聖帕帕講咧，我唔記得有任何一刻咧，我係冇記憶住 Krishna。
But still, he had to go through all those stages.
咁但係咧，佢聖帕帕仍然咧係要經歷過唔同嘅階段。
Sanatan Goswami was thrown into jail.
Sanatan Goswami 咧，佢曾經咧係被關喺監獄入邊。
Raghunath Das Goswami was sent back home. Go and live with your parents and your wife. Don't pretend.
Raghunath Das Goswami 咧就係叫佢被叫翻你翻屋企啦，你唔好假扮啦，你同你屋企人啊，同你太太一齊生活啦。
Each one had their challenges, their obstacles in life.
佢每一個人咧都有佢哋嘅挑戰啦，佢哋嘅障礙喺佢人生嗰度。
And it's not like they were just pretending. They were actually experiencing those challenges.
佢哋唔係喺度係假裝嘅，而佢真係咧係經歷呢一啲嘅困難，呢啲嘅挑戰。
So Narada Muni he managed to have this association at very, very young age.
咁 Narada-muni 咧係喺佢好細個嘅時候咧，已經係得到呢一啲咁寶貴嘅聯誼。
And he mentioned in the previous verse, I was not interested in playing and doing sports.
咁之前嘅詩詞佢都有提到啦，佢咧係唔中意玩嘅，亦都唔中意咧係做運動。
I mean, nowadays, if you see a child playing, you say, wow, he's really having fun.
咁而家呢個年代，你見到個細路仔真係喺度玩咧，就會發覺哇！呢個小朋友真係充滿係好快樂喎。
It's very healthy.
好健康喎。
He's been out all day playing.
佢咧出咗去外邊咧喺度玩啊。
Today it's not like that.
而家啲小朋友淨係唔會咁樣做，淨係喺度玩手機。
It's time for dinner. What's that?
而家啲小朋友淨係識得玩手機、玩平板電腦，跟住就要叫佢食飯就話都唔會理你。
It's literally like putting the strongest drug injected into their veins.
咁其實實際上咧就係將呢一個最強嘅藥咧，就好似打落佢哋嘅身度咁樣。
It's incredible.
呢個咧係好不可思議。
No attention, no focus.
佢哋咧係完全冇專注力。
Only the computer games.
淨係咧係專注喺呢一個電腦遊戲嗰度。
I've watched devoted children at the age of 2. The mother is listening to the class, the baby is on the lap with the phone.
咁我都見過咧，就算喺奉獻者嘅家庭啦，媽媽咧就抱住個 B B 啦，2歲嘅小朋友啦，媽媽就喺度聽課 ，B B 咧就喺度玩手機。
Then as they grow up, they watch different things.
咁當你長大嘅時候，佢就會睇唔同嘅嘢。
You know what they watch?
佢哋睇咩咧？
I know because they tell me.
咁我知啦，因為佢哋話俾我聽。
They watch TV dramas.
佢哋咧會睇呢個電視劇啦。
TV dramas that shows broken families.
咁咧就會睇一啲咧係破碎家庭嘅電視劇。
That shows domestic violence.
有家庭暴力嘅電視劇啦。
And they watch this and they say, yes, this is me, this is me, this is me.
跟住佢哋就話，佢哋睇呢啲嘢咧就話，呢個就係我啦。
Ask her daughter. Ask her daughter. Shamali. Yeah, 24/7. Addicted.
咁咧，佢哋根本係上咗癮啦，已經。
Recently, we had a program in Foshan. There were many parents, devotees. There were 4 kids, about 7, 8 years old, each one glued to their phone.
咁咧，我最近咧就喺佛山度有個活動啦。咁有4個家庭，有4個小朋友，佢就係7、8歲度啦。每一個人咧都係黐住個手機。
So I leaned over behind and I snapped one.
跟住咧，我就喺後邊咧匿埋啦，靜雞雞咩搶咗佢其中一個嘅手機。
Wow! The boy just screamed.
跟住呢個小朋友咧就即刻喺度瘋狂咁樣尖叫。
Throw himself on the floor.
喺個地嗰度咧係碌嚟碌去。
It's like you pull my heart out.
就好似咧你將我心咧掹咗出嚟咁樣。
And I was holding the phone. I said, "Is that what you're looking for?"
跟住咧我就拎住個手機喺佢面前就話：你係咪揾緊呢樣嘢啊？
And he was looking at his mom and he was crying and screaming.
跟住咧佢就望住佢媽媽啦，就喺度嗌啦，喺度咧喊。
So there was one devotee Mataji standing next to me.
咁喺我隔離咧就有個奉獻者Mataji啦。
And I looked at her and I said, "Did you see this?"
跟住我就望住佢就話：你睇唔睇到啊？
She said, "Yes, I understand. I don't want to have children."
跟住佢就話：我明啦，我明㗎，我唔想要小朋友。
It's not going to get any better.
呢個情況咧唔會變好嘅。
Unless the internet shuts down worldwide.
除非咧全世界冇咗呢個互聯網。
It will not get better.
如果唔係咧，唔會改善嘅。
And AI will make it even worse.
咁咧，我哋呢個人工智能咧，可能會令到呢個情況更加差。
Narada Muni, he was only 5, 6 years old. He was completely focused.
咁咧 Narada Muni 咧，佢只係5、6歲嘅啫，但係佢完全咧係專注嘅。
And within a very short time, his heart was completely cleansed from ignorance.
咁咧喺好短時間咧，佢嘅內心咧就係嘅愚昧咧係完全咧已經係被清除。
And he became a pure devotee.
佢成為咗一個純粹嘅奉獻者。
very, very, very fast.
非常之快。
So I was thinking that animals, when they have offsprings,
我喺度諗緊啦，如果動物佢哋有後代嘅時候，
the birds, the cats,
就好似
the cows, the
貓啊、
dogs,
雀仔啊、狗啊、牛啊咁樣，
how long do they hang around mommy?
佢哋咧會跟住佢媽媽幾耐咧？
How long do they hang around?
佢黐住佢媽媽幾耐咧？
They take a bit of food, they get a bit of cuddling,
咁我
off.
跟住咧，佢哋通常呢啲動物嘅後代就會喺媽媽嗰度得到啲食物啦、保護啦，跟住佢哋當佢長大就即刻就會走噶啦。
Instantly they understand what it means to struggle, what it means to survive.
佢哋咧即刻就會明白到咧咩叫做係去掙扎啦，咩叫做去生存。
Within 3 months, 6 months, maximum 1 year.
可能3個月啦、6個月啦，最多係1年嘅時間。
That's it. They can manage.
佢哋之後咧就會自己搞掂噶啦。
You tell a 1-year-old go and get a job,
你叫個1歲嘅小朋友去揾份工，
isn't it? 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, still hanging on to mom and dad. They don't want to leave the house.
而家嘅小朋友就係18歲啊、20歲啊、30歲都好啦，佢哋咧都係黐住爸爸媽媽，佢哋唔想離開家庭。
Just think about this for a moment. When human beings are supposed to have more intelligence than the other species of life.
咁我哋可以諗一諗啦，人類咧其實係應該比其他物種嘅動物咧係更加有智慧嘅。
And then people say to us, yeah, you're just brainwashing people.
咁咧跟住其他啲人就批評我哋啦，你哋即係同為其他人咧洗腦。
Who's being brainwashed?
咁但係可以諗下，究竟邊一個咧係被洗腦
Prabhupada
咧？
said, yes, we need to wash the brain because it's very dirty.
聖爸爸話：我哋係啊，真係我哋要洗乾淨我哋嘅腦，因為我哋嘅腦咧非常之污糟。
So there is a process which allows the conditioned souls to go from ignorance to pure goodness.
咁所以咧係呢個受制約條件制約嘅靈魂咧，係由要由呢一個愚昧屬性去到呢個純粹善良屬性咧，其實係有個過程嘅。
For some devotees, it's easier than for other devotees.
咁可能呢個過程咧，對某啲奉獻者嚟講咧，係比其他奉獻者係容易嘅。
For some devotees, it's very quick.
咁咧對某啲奉獻者咧係非常之快。
They join Krishna consciousness, everything is just natural.
咁咧佢哋好自然咁咧就係參加開始呢個 Krishna 知覺去收集。
For others, it's years and years and years of struggle.
咁對有啲人嚟講咧，可能咧佢哋係要好多年嘅掙扎。
Why is that?
點解咧？
It's called Purva Samskar.
咁呢個咧就係我哋嘅一個嘅 samskar， 我哋嘅一個前。
Who you were in your past life.
咁咧就係你前世究竟係邊個咧？
For those devotees who have it very easy when they join, they've done all the work in previous lives.
咁對嗰啲咧係好容易就參加去開始收集嘅奉獻者嚟講咧，其實佢哋咧大部分嘅工作咧已經喺前世做咗。
For others, they're only starting now.
咁咧對其他人嚟講，佢哋只係呢一世咧先啱啱開始。
Yesham fantakatam papam gyananam punyakarmanam tedvandva mohaniyam muktam bhajante mam dridavrataha. When you are free from attachment to the body, attachment to knowledge, free from sinful activities, bhajante mam dridavrataha. These persons worship me with determination.
咁咧Krishna 就講啦，當一個人咧係免除所有嘅罪惡活動啦，所有嘅依附啦嘅時候咧，呢啲人咧就會咧係好堅定咁樣咧嚟到係去崇拜我。
So Narada Muni became the prime example of someone who was in the conditioned stage who became a pure devotee within a very short time.
咁所以 Narada Muni 就係一個最好嘅例子啦，就係一個咧喺呢一個受制約嘅靈魂咧，佢係喺呢個物質世界仍有呢個物質身體嘅時候咧，好快咧就成為一個純粹奉獻者嘅一個最好嘅例子。
And his level of pure devotion allowed him to actually feel the presence of Krishna.
而佢嘅呢個純粹嘅奉愛嘅程度咧，係令到佢咧係可以咧去感受到 Krishna 嘅存在。
And it's mentioned, he will mention it at some point, that when he left his body, he had instant transfer to spiritual body.
咁之後亦都有講到咧，當佢 Narada Muni 離開佢呢個身體嘅時候咧，佢即刻就可以去到呢個靈性世界。
He used the word lightning, just like lightning.
就好似咧閃電咁快，根本一刻鐘都唔需要，就即刻就去到。
And then he became known as the transcendental spaceman.
咁佢哋就成為呢個超然嘅太空人。
Krishna gave him as a gift a veena.
Krishna 咧俾咗個 veena 個樂器個琴俾佢。
And then he would go everywhere chanting Hare Krishna.
咁佢咧就攞住呢個 veena 呢個琴咧，就去到邊咧佢都會咧係唱頌 Hare Krishna。
Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a song about this.
咁咧 Bhaktivinoda Thakur 咧寫咗一首歌咧係講呢樣嘢。
Narada Muni Bhajai Veena Radhacaran Name. Narada Muni Bhajai Veena. Veena is the instrument. Radhika Raman Name, chanting the names of Radha and Krishna.
咁你不斷咧就係寫呢首歌嘅歌詞就係話咧，Narada Muni 咧就攞住佢嘅呢個 Veena 嘅琴啦，去到邊咧都係喺度唱頌咧係 Radha Krishna 嘅逍遙時光。
And because he goes all over the universe and within the spiritual sky, the demigods, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they say, wow, Narada Muni is doing kirtan. Let's join in.
咁因為 Narada Muni 咧係可以係穿梭於呢個靈性世界同物質世界，咁所以咧啲半神人啦，譬如 Brahma 啊、Shiva 啊，所有其他半神人，當佢聽到Narada Muni 拎住呢個 Veena 嚟唱歌嘅時候，就Narada Muni 喺度做 kirtan， 我哋一齊參加。
And therefore you find Narada Muni all throughout the Śrimad Bhagāvatam. He is everywhere.
所以咧，你會喺成本聖經 Bhagāvatam 咧入邊咧，你都會見到咧 Narada Muni 咧係無處不在嘅，喺度穿梭於當中。
And he becomes the guru of the most exalted devotees.
佢亦都成為咧最傑出奉獻者嘅靈性導師。
And he is also famous for instigating, pushing situations. He irritates people.
而佢哋亦都好出名咧，就係咧係去撩人哋嘅，即係等人哋咧係即係撩起一啲嘢咯嚇，加鹽加醋。
He pushed Kamsa. He said, "Hey, you got to get rid of that boy."
咁咧就好似去到見 Kamsa 啦，就同佢講：喂，你要殺咗嗰個細路喎。
This is very interesting.
呢個咧非常之有趣嘅。
Narada Muni gets into the ears of Kamsa.
Narada Muni 咧直頭咧走埋去咧 Kamsa 嘅耳仔嗰度。
Krishna is in Vrindavan. You want to get rid of him?
跟住就同 Kamsa 講 ：Krishna 咧喺Vrindavan喎，你使唔使殺咗佢啊？
You can invite him.
你可以咧邀請佢嚟呢度。
What did Narada Muni do by convincing Kamsa to call Krishna to Mathura?
咁咧，Narada Muni 咧就係咧遊說 Kamsa 咧，說服佢咧，叫佢咧係叫 Krishna 咧嚟到 Mathura。
He became the architect of the most intense feelings of separation between Krishna and the Brijbasis.
佢咧，你可以其實係一個建築師嚟嘅，佢就令到咧係 Krishna 同埋呢個 Vrindavan 嘅居民咧嘅分離嘅情感咧係變得最強烈。
There are 3 players.
有3個嘅參與者。
One is Narada Muni.
其中一個就係 Narada Muni 啦。
He pushes the situation.
佢咧就係推動呢一個嘅事情發生。
To get Krishna and Balaram out of Vrindavan.
咁咧就係令到咧 Krishna 同 Balaram 咧離開 Vrindavan。
That creates intense feelings of separation.
呢個咧就令到咧係產生一個咧非常之強烈嘅分離嘅情感。
The second player, Akrura.
第二個參與者咧就係 Akrura。
Akrura means one who is not cruel.
咁咧 Akrura 嘅意思就即係話一個人咧係唔殘忍嘅人咧就叫 Akrura。
He is another instrument to increase the feelings of separation.
佢咧係第二個係增加呢個分離嘅情感嘅工具。
He takes Krishna Balaram away from Vrindavan.
佢咧就係帶 Krishna 同 Balaram 離開 Vrindavan。
And the third one is Uddhava.
第3個咧就係 Uddhava。
Uddhava is sent by Krishna to Vrindavan to pacify the gopis.
咁咧 Krishna 咧就派 Uddhava 咧去翻去 Vrindavan 咧嚟到咧令到係嚟到係去安慰咧係呢啲牧牛姑娘。
Uddhava is not a Brijbasi.
Uddhava 咧並唔係一個 Vrindavan 嘅居民。
He doesn't know their language.
佢咧連佢哋嘅講嘅話都唔識嘅。
He doesn't know what kind of bhakti they have.
佢都唔知道咧 Vrindavan 嘅居民嘅奉愛係乜嘢。
Krishna wrote a letter.
Krishna 寫一封信。
These letters were not like, meet me at Vamsivat. I'll be there very soon.
呢封信咧並唔係寫話 Krishna 叫啲蘑菇人話我咧就會喺好快脆就喺溫斯加嗰度咧見你哋，並唔係咁樣。
He writes philosophy.
佢又寫啲哲學。
I am everywhere.
我咧無處不在。
You never separated from me.
你從來咧都冇同我分離過。
Just see me in everything.
你可以喺任何一樣嘢度咧揾到我。
And Uddhava is reading this to the gopis.
咁咧 Uddhava 咧就係將 Krishna 寫呢封信咧讀俾高皮聽。
The gopis are not stupid.
咁咧蘑菇人咧並唔係蠢嘅。
They're actually very highly educated.
其實佢哋咧係受過高深嘅教育。
And they listen to Uddhava and says, "Can you please stop your reading because we're not interested in this."
咁咧跟住蘑菇人就叫 Uddhava 同 Uddhava 講：你唔使讀啦，你停啦，我哋咧對呢啲係毫無興趣。
And then they begin to narrate to Uddhava what is their relationship with Krishna.
跟住咧蘑菇人就開始咧就係向 Uddhava 咧講述咧佢哋同 Krishna 嘅關係。
And he has never heard anything like this before.
Uddhava 咧從來冇聽過咧一啲關於呢樣嘢嘅事情。
Especially when he hears Radharani speak to
The bee。
the bumblebee.
尤其是咧就係當 Uddhava 咧係聆聽Śrimad Radharani 咧對住一個蜜蜂講嘅嘢。
See, she goes to the Govardhan retreat. She knows these things. Uddhava cannot believe that someone can have such intense feeling of love for Krishna.
咁咧 Uddhava 咧冇辦法相信咧有人咧係對 Krishna 嘅愛咧係咁強烈嘅。
And Krishna sent Uddhava purposely for him to understand. You go and you will see what kind of love they have for
而
me.
Krishna 亦都係特登咧係派 Uddhava 去 Vrindavan 嘅，就係令到 Vrindavan 咧要親眼睇到、感受到咧呢啲人對 Krishna 嘅愛係點樣。
And his conclusion is there's nothing higher than this.
而 Uddhava 嘅結論就係冇一樣嘢咧比呢個咧係更加咧係高界高尚嘅。
Therefore he makes a prayer.
跟住咧，所以咧佢就寫咗個禱文。
I want to live in Vrindavan forever.
我咧想永遠都住喺 Vrindavan。
But in what form?
但係用咩嘅形式咧？
Uddhava's relationship is eternal. It cannot change. It's based on friendship.
咁 Uddhava 同 Krishna 嘅關係咧係唔可以改變嘅，係一個朋友嘅關係。
So he has no attraction to become a gopi.
佢咧冇佢唔想，佢並唔係話咧係被吸引咧係想成為一個蘑菇人。
He wants to be a blade of grass.
佢想咧成為一根小草。
How would you like the idea to be a blade of grass forever?
你覺得咧成為永遠成為一根草咧？呢個建議點樣咧？
So he wants to be a blade of grass, but he doesn't want to be on a path.
佢想成為一根小草，但係唔係喺個條路嗰度。
He wants to grow off the path.
佢咧想唔係喺條路嗰度啦，喺側邊嘅地方。
Why?
點解咧？
Because he understands the gopis are always intoxicated out of love for Krishna, so they never walk straight. I'll get a chance to get their lotus feet on my head.
因為咧 Uddhava 明白到咧，蘑菇人永遠都係咧沉醉咗喺 Krishna 嘅愛當中，佢哋唔會直行嘅，唔會喺條路上面行，佢哋咧周圍咁樣行嚟行去，咁所以咧佢係好想咧係得到咧係蘑菇人腳上面嘅塵土。
So Narada Muni also was very attracted to those beautiful Vrindavan pastime.
咁咧 Narada Muni 亦都係被呢一啲Vrindavan 嘅逍遙時光咧係深深咁吸引。
And he was in Vrindavan in intense meditation.
佢當時咧喺 Vrindavan 咧係喺一個非常之深嘅冥想當中。
How can I enter these beautiful pastimes?
我點樣先能夠咧進入呢啲咁美麗嘅逍遙時光當中咧？
So Brinda Devi walked by and she told him, if you want to enter those pastimes, first you have to take a bath in Kusum Sarovar.
咁跟住咧就當時咧 Winter David 咧就經過聽到嘅時候就同 Narada Muni 講啦，嗱，如果你想咧進入 Krishna 嘅逍遙時光，首先咧就要喺 Kusum Sarovar 花之湖嗰度咧係
Kusum Sarovar is at
Govardhan。Kusum Sarovar 咧花之湖就係喺Govardhan山。
This is the place where Srimati Radharani the gopis pick flowers for Krishna.
咁呢個地方咧就係Srimati Radharani 咧同埋啲蘑菇娘咧係摘花俾 Krishna 嘅地方。
It's a beautiful place.
非常 漂亮。
So he entered Kusum Sarovar as a sadhu, and he came out as a gopi.
咁咧，於是咧，Radhacaran咧就係喺Kusum Sarovar 嗰度咧沐浴啦，跟住當佢出翻嚟嘅時候咧，就成為咗一個蘑菇啦。
And his name became Naradi
跟住
instead
個
of
名，
Narada.
佢個名咧就唔係 Narada 啦，叫 Naradi。
Just like Arjuna became Arjuniya.
咁就好似 Arjuna 佢曾經變嗰個女人就變 Arjunia。
See, they all have a different relationship with Krishna, but they all, what's going on in that forest? We want to know what's going on.
佢哋雖然咧其實都係同 Krishna 有個永恆嘅關係嘅，但佢哋咧仍然非常之好奇，想究竟呢度發生咩事，我好想去睇下。
Even Bhishmadev, on the bed of Aro, he praised the love of the gopis.
咁咧，就算 Bhishmadev 啦，Bhishma 祖父啦，佢喺呢個戰床上面就係要離開身體嘅時候咧，佢都咧係稱讚呢個蘑菇啦。
So he got to see, got to witness and take part in those beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna with the gopis.
咁我哋咧好想咧係去目睹啦，同埋參與咧係 Krishna 同蘑菇娘呢啲咁美妙嘅逍遙時光。
But that was just, like the cherry on the cake. Okay, you can experience this, but you're not supposed to stay like that.
You were in the chariot.
It was a reward
咁
for
呢個
his
咧，
intense desire.
咁呢個咧係佢一個非常之強烈嘅慾望。
So he had to take bath again and come out as Narada Muni.
咁跟住咧，佢就要再喺呢個湖嗰度咧，就係再沐浴啦，就出翻嚟嘅時候咧，就成為翻 Radhacaran。
Not far from Kusum Sarovar, you take a left a few hundred meters, and there's a place called Narada Kund.
咁咧喺 Kusum Sarovar 出嚟啦，你再向前行，喺左手邊咧冇幾百米度啦，就有一個地方叫 Radhacaran。
Because Narada Muni has a very important service.
因為咧 Radhacaran 有個非常重要嘅服務，
He is there to train the conditioned souls to get pure bhakti.
佢喺嗰度咧係訓練呢一個受條件制嘅靈魂咧，點樣先可以得到純粹點樣係可以發展咗呢個純粹嘅奉愛。
So that's where he wrote the Narada Bhakti Sutra, which is all about the process of bhakti.
佢喺嗰度寫咗呢個 Narada Bhakti Sutra 呢一本書咧，就係完全咧就係講述有關咧係純粹嘅奉愛。
And that's also where he wrote the Narada Pancharatra, which is all the rules and regulations for deity worship.
咁佢都寫咗呢個 Narada Pancharatra 啦，呢本書就係所有咧就係關於咧做神像崇拜嘅呢一啲嘅規範守則。
Narada Muni's eternal relationship with Krishna is in Dasaras. He's a servant of Krishna.
咁而 Radhacaran 同 Krishna 嘅永恆嘅關係咧，就係一個 Dasarasa， 即係一個僕人嘅關係。
He doesn't need an invitation. He can just walk up any place at any time. It doesn't matter.
佢唔需要邀請函嘅，佢任何時間、任何地點，佢都可以就咁就出現㗎啦。
So, because of Narada Muni, we have two paths.
咁因為 Radhacaran 咧，我哋收集咧有兩條路嘅。
We have the path of rules and regulations,
我哋有一個係有規範，即係規範守則嘅路
and we
啦。
have the path of spontaneous love.
我哋都有另外一個咧，就係自發嘅愛嘅呢一條路。
Spontaneous love is a path of handing down the transcendental knowledge.
咁而呢個自發嘅嘅愛嘅路咧，就係咧係將呢一個超然嘅純粹知識咧係派發出去。
That knowledge is the Śrimad Bhagāvatam.
咁而呢個知識咧就係正典博伽亞談。
So this is handed down from one acharya to another.
咁樣係由一個靈性導師一直咁樣傳落嚟。
This is a shiksha line. It's a line where you only receive instructions.
咁呢個咧就係我哋話嘅 shiksha 嘅呢一個嘅路啦。咁即係話我哋淨係咧接受呢啲訓示。
But the Bhagavad Vidhi, where we follow rules and regulation, is the diksha line. We do it through initiation.
咁而另外一條咧就係我哋 Diksha 嘅路啦，就係我哋通過咧啟迪咧由靈性導師呢度咧係接受呢一啲嘅規範守則。
And the objective is to go from the diksha line to the shiksha line.
咁而我哋嘅目標咧就係由呢一個 Diksha 啦，呢一條路咧係走向呢個 Shiksha， 即係訓示嘅呢條路。
Krishna is not attracted by rules and regulations.
Krishna 咧並唔會受呢個規範守則所吸引。
Krishna is attracted by spontaneous love.
Krishna 咧只係被呢個 自發嘅純粹嘅愛所吸引。
So we are in the rules and regulation of Vidimar. This is the path of rules and regulation, but it's not the goal.
我哋咧喺呢一個受規範、受呢個規範守則嘅呢一個所限制嘅呢條路嗰度收集啦，但係呢個咧並唔係我哋最終嘅目標。
There are other schools that teach that, only rules and regulation.
咁有一啲學派佢哋淨係教規範守則嘅啫，淨係呢樣嘢。
Our objective is to follow the rules and then gradually lean towards spontaneous love.
咁而我哋嘅方向咧就係咧，首先係由規範守則遵守啲規範守則開始啦，慢慢咧就係咧去到呢一個自發純粹嘅愛嘅呢一個嘅路個方向嗰度。
For now, we have deity worship. Prabhupada mentions in the purport.
咁喺要旨入邊咧，我哋而家咧就係聖爸爸有提到，我哋而家就有呢個神像崇拜。
Worshipping the deities, dressing the deities, performing arti, doing flower garlands, doing festivals.
咁咧就譬如好似我哋做神像崇拜啦，為神像做花環啦，幫佢更衣啦，我哋會有好多嘅節日啦等等。
This is the path of Archana. Archana is worshipping the deity.
咁呢個就係 Archana 啦，就係神像崇拜。
But above Archana is Sankirtan.
咁但係咧係比呢一個 Archana 更之上咧就係 Sankirtan 齊眾聖名。
This is very, very important to understand.
呢個咧係我哋要非常之重要嘅，我哋必須要理
Srila
解。
Prabhupada did not establish temples and he did not install the deities just for rituals.
聖爸爸咧係佢建立呢個廟宇啦，係建立呢個神像崇拜啦、神像啦，並唔係咧淨係為咗一啲儀式嘅。
Srila Prabhupada established temples and deities to attract people, and when they are in the temple, there is Sankirtan, there is chanting.
咁所以咧，聖爸爸佢建立廟宇啦，有神像啦，其實咧就係為咗咧就係吸引啲人嚟到廟堂，跟住當人就嚟到廟堂嘅時候咧，我哋就開始Sankirtan齊眾聖名。
That's why when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati built his big temple in Calcutta, and his disciples started fighting over which room they're going to get, he told Prabhupada, I want to sell the marble and I want to print books.
咁所以點解咧？當北之士丹德沙衰塔佢係起咗啲好大嘅廟啦，跟住咧就係當佢啲門徒啊喺度爭論啊，究竟我要呢間房，我要呢間房大啲嘅房，係嘅時候咧，北之士丹塔咧就同泡泡講啦，我咧想賣晒呢啲廟，拆晒佢，將一啲雲石咧賣晒出去。我得到啲錢嘅時候咧，我就去印書。
So we do deity worship, so we can be punctual, we can be clean, we can be devotional.
咁我哋做神像崇拜，訓練我哋咧係要準時啦，要潔淨啦，同埋咧係要有呢個奉愛嘅心。
We can work hard, we control the senses, control the mind.
我哋控制我哋嘅感官啦，控制我哋嘅心意啦，我哋好努力咁樣去服務。
But kirtan is more important.
但係咧 Kirtan 啦，齊眾聖名咧係更加重要。
So we do the two side by side.
咁所以我哋咧係兩邊咧係同時咁樣係去做嘅。
This is the best of both worlds.
咁呢個咧亦都係最好嘅。
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are we over time? We are.
It doesn't matter. Transcendental time.
Yes?
I just have in my head, it really threw me, is like, be like my guru. Like you mentioned, like if I get initiated and got a guru, I don't know how it will be, like what sort of connection or instructions. How do you get that when one is in China or in Europe and I'm here?
In South Africa.
Yes.
個問題就係如果我第時有個靈性導師，我啟迪咗啦，咁但係我哋好係身處喺唔同嘅地方咯，咁點樣聯繫咧？點樣得到佢嘅訓示咧？
When we begin to chant Hare Krishna, that is initiation.
咁當我哋係去念誦 Hare Krishna 嘅時候咧，呢個已經係一個啟迪。
Yes? Because Krishna is the original guru.
因為 Krishna 咧係最原本嘅靈性導師，
He is the one who gives life.
佢咧係賜予生命俾我哋。
Then we come in contact with Krishna consciousness, and the first person we hear about is Srila Prabhupada.
咁而當我哋第一次開始接觸Krishna 知覺嘅時候咧，我哋第一個聆聽，即係就係通過聖帕巴嚟到係聆聽。
If Prabhupada did not leave India, this place would be just another apartment in Hong Kong.
如果聖帕巴係冇離開印度嘅話咧，呢一個廟堂而家呢個地方只係一個普通嘅住宅。
And this is the most important investment that we have to make, is to completely be absorbed in knowing everything about Srila Prabhupada and everything he has taught us.
咁所以最重要嘅我哋要做嘅嘢咧，就係我哋要完全去知道咧係聖帕巴教我哋嘅嘢啦，同埋聖帕想我哋去做嘅嘢。
Because we have many gurus in Iskcon now.
因為我哋而家 Iskcon 入邊咧有好多唔同嘅靈性，
But
有好多靈性導
they're
師。
not going to live for 10,000 years.
咁佢哋咧唔會咧係有1萬年嘅壽命。
This is very, very important to understand.
呢個咧係我哋要去係非常之重要嘅，我哋要去理解。
Once your spiritual master passes away, what do you lean on?
咁當你嘅靈性導師離開呢個世界嘅時候，咁你依靠啲乜嘢咧？
Naturally, Srila Prabhupada.
咁好自然就係聖帕帕啦。
For all generations to come.
所有將來嘅世世代代嘅奉獻者。
Nobody is going to start writing Śrimad Bhagāvatam again, Chaitanya Charitam. No, Prabhupada has done it for the next 10,000 years. He is our preeminent Shiksha Guru.
咁係咪再去寫聖經《Bhagāvatam》啊、永恆的主啊、歎異經咧？唔需要嘅，因為咧聖帕帕已經做咗啦。咁喺1萬年咧，其實聖帕帕都係我哋最重要嘅訓示靈性導師。
So when you accept Srila Prabhupada in your heart and you follow everything that he's taught us, you are completely safe.
咁如果我哋咧係完全接受聖帕帕喺我哋嘅內心入邊啦，咁我哋咧就會非常之安全。
But there has to be a formal connection, and that's done through a living spiritual master.
咁但係當然啦，亦都中間有個正式嘅聯繫嘅。咁呢個咧就係通過一個在世嘅靈性導師。
And the living guru makes the link.
咁咧呢個在世嘅靈性導師咧就係建立呢一個嘅聯繫。
Different gurus says different things, right?
唔同嘅靈性導師佢哋講嘅嘢可能唔一樣。
Some gurus say, I'll bring you back to Krishna.
咁咧有啲靈性導師就話咧，我帶你翻去 Krishna 嗰度。
Some guru says, I'll bring you to Prabhupada.
咁有啲靈性導師就話啦，我帶你翻去見帕帕。
It's much safer.
咁咧呢個更加安全。
At least I know I can take you to Prabhupada.
咁咧就起碼咧，我會知道咧，我可以帶你翻去聖帕帕嗰
But
度。
somehow or other, the connection has to be made through the process of initiation.
咁但係咧呢一個嘅聯繫咧，必須要通過咧啟迪嚟到咧係建立嘅。
So how do you choose a guru?
咁你點樣去揀一個靈性導師咧？
I was looking the other day on the website. There are presently 120 initiating gurus in Iskcon.
咁我嗰日咧就睇呢個網站啦。咁而家咧已經係有120個咧係嘅靈性導啟迪靈性導師。
They don't all come to Hong Kong.
佢唔係所有人都會嚟香港。
But every devotee has a certain need.
咁每一個奉獻者都有啲特定嘅需要。
Some devotees are just happy to be connected.
有啲奉獻者可能佢淨係得到呢個聯繫就好開心㗎啦。
They see Guru Maharaj every few years at a program. Hey, well.
咁可能咧，佢哋幾年咧會先見一見靈性導師嚇，係好遠好遠咁樣咧喺啲節目入邊咧嚇，即係日高嘅腳先見到佢嘅。
20,000 disciples, 50,000 disciples, 100,000 disciples.
可能有2萬個門徒啦、5萬個門徒啦、10萬個門徒啦等等。
But they're happy. I'm connected. That's all I want.
咁但係佢哋仍然好開心嘅喎。我就總之係有呢個聯繫就得
I
㗎啦。
listen to the lecture.
咁我會聽佢講嘅課
I have
啦。
association of my god brothers, god sisters.
咁我同我嘅神兄弟姊妹有聯誼啦。
I listen to the other gurus.
我咧聽其他靈性導師嘅課啦。
I'm fine.
咁我 OK 冇問題。
Some are attracted to a specific personality.
咁有啲可能係被某一個特別嘅性格所吸引。
He's a Prabhupada disciple.
佢係聖帕巴嘅門徒啦，
He's a
可
sannyasi.
能係一個托缽僧啦，
And he's a guru.
佢係都係一個靈性導師。
Good enough for me.
呢個咧已經夠㗎啦。
So everybody's got a different need.
咁每個人咧嘅需要都唔一樣，
Everyone is inspired in a particular way.
每個人咧都係用由唔同嘅方
Some
法咧係得到啟
devotees
發。
listen to one lecture. That's it. I'm convinced you're my guru.
咁有啲人咧，有啲奉獻者聽一堂課就話得㗎啦，我接受佢就做我嘅靈性導師。
Other disciples, they need attention.
有啲奉獻者咧，可能佢哋需要好多嘅關注。
When I write a letter, I need a reply.
當我寫封信俾靈性導師咧，我要有回覆嘅。
Imagine some disciples never get a reply.
咁你可以想象有啲門徒咧，根本佢哋從來都唔會有佢靈性導師嘅回覆，
Never.
從來都冇，
Guru has no time.
佢哋冇時間。
When you have
嗰度冇時
50,000
間。
disciples, who do you write to?
咁如果你有5萬個門徒嘅時候，你寫俾邊個咧？
Prabhupada did the same. At the beginning, Prabhupada would personally write, and then he had his secretary writing.
咁咧開始嘅時候咧，聖爸爸咧會親自回信嘅，但係之後咧佢都係由佢嘅秘書去回信。
So then the older disciples, they become empowered to take care of the younger disciples.
咁一啲比較年長嘅奉獻者咧，佢就係有呢個力量咧，係去照顧啲比較即係初階嘅奉獻者。
So you have to see within your heart, what are your spiritual needs?
咁你要睇翻你自己內心，你嘅靈性嘅需要係咩咧？
Yeah. You have to see which guru comes to Hong Kong.
咁你都要 no need
No need, huh?
no need go
She
to
says no need.
go to India.
Yeah, go to India, but she can't go to India unless you BNO.
She's British.
Oh,
She
British.
just
Then you go
returned
to
from Mayapur.
you go to Mayapur and Vrindavan.
Yeah.
You sit there for 1 month. You look around. Open your ears. Open your heart. You are my guru.
咁你唔需要真係唔需要淨係喺嚟香港嘅靈導師，你可以去印度啦，去其他地方啦，喺嗰度坐低啦，聽課啦，跟住咧就呢個咧就係我嘅靈性導師啦。
But we have to be careful not to be over emotional.
但我哋咧要好小心，唔可以咧太過感情用事。
You may accept a guru. It's it, lock in your heart. That's it.
可能咧你係接受佢做你嘅靈性導師，但係喺個心入邊。
Now I need to get to know you, and you need to get to know me.
咁我哋咧要互相了解，
That's the most important
呢
part.
個咧係更加重要嘅部分。
So we have to take time for that,
咁所以需要時間，
because so many ups and downs in that process of taking shelter.
因為咧喺託庇嘅過程咧有好多上上落落。
So that we know after 1 year, 2 years of that relationship, I am convinced now.
咁可能需要1年啦、2年嘅時間咧，就話我相信呢個就係我要揾嘅嘢啦。
Not I take shelter on Monday, I get initiated on Thursday.
咁並唔係話咧，我星期一託庇，星期4就啟迪。
I have to cultivate the relationship.
嗱，我哋要培養呢個嘅
Even
關
Sanatan
係。
Goswami said, at least 1 year.
甚至咧，係神一真告蘇眉都講咧，最少要1年嘅時間。
Yeah, then you become, the conviction grows in the heart.
咁咧，因為咁你先能夠好建立一個好堅定嘅呢一個嘅信心。
So that's what most devotees do.
咁呢個咧，大部分嘅奉獻者都係咁樣做嘅。
Me, I didn't have that chance. Say, take shelter now. Prabhupada was so magnanimous, you know. He gave initiation to whoever his disciple recommended. Yeah, very nice boy, okay, initiation.
聖爸爸咧係非常之慷慨啦，只要佢嘅門徒咧係推薦嗰個人咧，聖爸爸就會同意啊，好啦，就啟迪啦。
Some devotees some people, karmis, came to the Sunday feast for the first time. They, okay, you sit at the jaga, you get your beads. What?
咁有啲呢啲即係公益性活動嘅人咧，就嚟到第一次可能參加呢個星期日嘅大餐愛心大餐活動啦。跟住咧啲奉獻咧就叫嗱，你坐去火仔嗰度啦，呢個念珠係你㗎啦。
Prabhupada was so liberal.
不過當時咧係非常之開放嘅。
Then slow down.
跟住咧就慢慢咧就停慢落嚟啦。
Then he said at least 6 months.
咁咧跟住佢就話最少6個月。
Now it's 1 year.
咁而家咧就係1年。
Some gurus make devotees wait 5 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. 咁有啲奉獻有啲
Yeah.
not me.
Not you, I know.
Poor Jim.
Really?
Yes, more than 10 years.
Wow.
咁咧有啲靈性導師咧，佢哋甚至咧係要佢嘅門徒咧託庇咗之後咧係5年啦、10年啦咁樣等係有嘅嚇。
Yeah. Radhacaran Swami,
Yeah.
5 years,
At
7
least.
years.
咁譬如 Radhacaran Swami 咧最少5年啦、7年啦嚇。
because they want to make sure the connection is already established. You're making progress.
因為咧呢個聯繫已經係建立咗㗎啦，亦都喺度進步緊。
And even if you're not initiated, the process works.
咁就算你係冇啟迪啦，但係呢個過程咧係一樣係有效嘅。
So you have to decide. You have to see this. This is a very, very personal thing.
呢個咧係要自己去決定嘅，係一個好個人嘅嘢嚟嘅。
And especially we have to be careful not to fall into what Bhagāvatam Prabhu calls guru groupism.
咁尤其是我哋好小心咧，就係唔好咧，就係Bhagāvatam Prabhu提過嘅 guru groupism 啦，即係話我淨係理我呢個 guru 嘅啫，或者係我嘅神經弟姊妹，其他所有人咧都唔理嘅。
My Guru Maharaj is coming next week. Are you ready?
Guru Maharaj下星期嚟啦，你準備好未啊？
Go, get initiated.
快啲啦，去啟迪啦！
I don't know who he is. Doesn't matter. Take initiation.
我唔知佢係邊個嚟㗎，不過唔緊要啦，總之啟迪咗先啦，先算啦。
That's not good.
呢個咧係唔好嘅。
And then only my Guru is advanced.
淨係我嘅 Guru 先係好嘅啫。
Yes. Only my Guru is pure.
淨係我嘅 Guru 咧先係純粹嘅。
Very bad.
呢個咧非常之壞嘅。
So we learn all these things.
咁我哋都要學習呢一切。
Some devotees, they just out of emotion take initiation and then they live a life of regret.
咁有啲奉獻者佢哋咧，因為感情用事啦，就接受咗啟迪啦，跟住佢成世人咧都後悔。
Yeah. So consider all these things. And
咁
then Krishna within the heart, he will tell you, is your Guru.
咁咧要考慮晒呢一切嘅嘢啦，然之後咧 Krishna 喺你心入邊咧就會教導你。
Purnamasi, she's been around for a long time. She knows these things. Krishna in the heart.
咁咧就 Krishna 喺我哋嘅心入邊咧，自動就會出現㗎啦。
Okay? Anything else? Finished? Grantaraj Śrimad Bhagāvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nada Muni ki jai, Go Premanande.